grown rather fond of the Kenneth Myers case and all the suspects tied up in it, which is why today, being my last round of interviews, has made me rather sad, and I'm seeking solace in the cold-blooded arms of my gecko. She's my crime-solving partner. There's Sherlock Holmes, and then there's me and my lizard hero. Now, today I had another spree of interviews that we went on together, and I found what everybody had to say to be rather interesting.
Serves him right. I adored Kenneth Myers until my last performance when he cut my big solo. I mean, God, I'm a dancer. A dancer dances. I could have strangled him on the spot. But of course, it couldn't have been me. I moved to New York to go to Broadway.
Well, as I'm sure you're aware, the name's Leverett, Declan Leverett. I direct the Pinnacle Players here at the Phoebus Theater. I've known Kenneth quite a long time, I suppose. We met back in our Ivy days, him at Yale and myself at a real college. But frankly, I detest the media's insinuation that I would murder Kenneth as a rival theatrician. To call Kenneth a rival of mine today would be to insult me greatly. For you see, Kenneth Myers always was and always will be below me.
So, our first movie with Kenneth, we were still pretty young. We were 10. So, he thought, well, they're small. You know, my friend needs some little monkeys for this movie about this green place and this witch and this little girl. So, we were some of the featured flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
You never see the actual, actors fly because they tried.
Yeah, they really gave it a shot.
But
they didn't want they didn't want any strings in the shot, so they just tried to throw us into the air really high. And we had to act like a monkey before falling, and that was and they played it in reverse, so it looked like that was the idea. But like I said, those cannons weren't really that safe that shot us into the air.
So they decided to take it out.
Kenneth? Really? Well, I don't know nothing about it. Me and the family were having a game night that night. Sorry I couldn't be much help. But, hey, before you go, off the record, I was Kenneth's stage manager for 3 long years. And I think it's safe to say the world's a better place without him. But they all had airtight alibis, so they were innocent. And I was no closer to solving this case. Now, let's go get you some yummy, yummy waxworms and see if Ida's got anything to report.
After my very telling interview with Beatrice Myers, Kenneth Myers' sister, I decided to stray from the familial path for my next interview. I managed to track down a Miss Sally Sue from Long Island, Kenneth Myers' hairdresser, who apparently has been cutting his hair ever since he moved to New York. She allegedly knows everything there is to know about him. So later today, I'm headed over to her place to see what I can dig up.
Hello, my name is Sally Sue, and I'm a hairdresser.
When did you first meet Kenneth Myers?
Oh, gosh, let me think for a second. I first met Kenneth when he moved to Brooklyn, and I remember he was 22 at the time, so I've been cutting his hair for a little over 20 years now, I believe. Gosh, I guess time really flies, doesn't it? Anyway, he came into my shop one day just looking for a trim, and we hit it off instantly. Ever since then, he came to get his hair cut every 2 weeks.
So I assume the two of you were close.
Oh, let me tell you, this guy would tell me everything. I mean, sometimes I felt like I knew more about his life than he did. Generally, we'd discuss things like his theater. I mean, that was his job after all. He always had some new project underway, and as someone who's been cutting hair all her life, I always found his stories so fascinating. When I was a little girl, I always dreamed of being on the big stage. But by talking to Kenneth about his shows, I've always sort of been able to live vicariously through him, you know? Oh, and I always have to ask him about his daughter, Julie, and she's such a doll. You know, she used to come into my shop occasionally with Kenneth just to say hello. I always wish I had a daughter like her. God knows my marriages have never worked out long enough for that to happen. But enough about me. To tell you the truth, I always wish Kenneth and I spoke more about his gorgeous hair. I mean, never in my entire life had I seen such beautiful hair. I hate to admit it, but I've always been a little jealous of it. Oh, and of course there was his smile. I tell you, this guy really did have the most genuine smile. But the hair was something else, really.
Do you know any secrets you're willing to share?
Oh, honey, you have come to the right place. People love to tell their hairdressers all their deepest secrets. Most of the time, I wish they'd just sit there and shut up, but Kenneth always had the best backstage gossip. And, you know, Kenneth always loved his job, but the thing that annoyed him the most was that some of the company members were so entitled. They were always wanting the spotlight for themselves and whatnot, and they always just were questioning his techniques. You know, he wished that they would just trust his process. There were quite a few jealous actors in that company, let me tell you.
I left my meeting with today's suspect feeling rather refined. Somehow, after talking to him, I just discovered how to read. Also, I painted this painting and that painting. His name is Lamont Valjean, a French theater critic who was very familiar with Kenneth Myers' work. Also, he had some interesting facts about the case that he wanted to share with me. Hello. Could you please state your name?
Bonjour, je m'appelle Lamont Valjean, but I assume you already knew that. I heard about Monsieur Myers comme c'est triste.
Did you know Kenneth Myers?
I did not know the man personally, but I saw all of his plays.
Ah, you're familiar with his work.
Really? I followed every single one of his plays and knew every single line. Il est maître de sa moitié. He is a complete genius. He... My apologies. I get carried away. He was an inspiration.
You seem to be a pretty big fan. Would you say so?
Me? I would not call myself a fan. I'm a critic. It is my profession to recognize genius, which is why I felt so close to the man, though I never actually met him. We're two of a kind.
Do you know anything about the murder?
Oh. My guess would have to be suicide.
Well, why do you say that?
The man was how would you say, a miracle worker. He had to work with talentless imbeciles like Bernard Bichot and Annabelle Williams. They like to brand themselves as actors when they completely lack the ability to act. Bernard is too feminine looking to play any male leads with his long hair and his weak jawline. And Williams, she has no sex appeal. On stage, they're an eyesore. In person, they are unbearable. They make me want to quit my job altogether. Not only that, but for some reason, Monsieur Myers had to make a play about beans? Can you believe that? He, like myself, is a visionary. But he was absolutely impossible. I feel sorry for him, man.
I've lost my marbles. So today, I conducted my final interview on the Kenneth Myers case. I had a discussion with an executive of the Bean Sphere, and what she showed me was, frankly, illuminating. Take a look and make of it what you will.
Wait, detective. There's a little wordplay there for you because of the beans. I'll forget it. I'm not here to tell jokes, I'm here to answer questions. Now hit me.
What's your status on the bean hierarchy?
Want to know what I do around here, detective? Yeah. They call me the beanstalker because I keep track of everything. Nobody makes any money, goes in or out, or takes care of any business without me knowing about it first.
And why have you been so eager to talk to me?
Want to know why I'm answering your questions, detective? I'm trying to clear Rice and Beans' name. Rumor get out that we trying to kill people or nothing? Not exactly good for business, if you know what I mean.
If you're looking to clear your name, then clear it.
You want to know some reasons why we couldn't have killed Kenneth? First of all, brought in great business. Only a fool kills the man that brings in that much business. And we ain't no fools, detective. Secondly, he was putting a little something together for us down at the studio. A little bean show, if you will, that the Lagoon brothers wrote. Anywho's, I wasn't fully involved, but I do have some checks here. We was paying all those studio folk up until the day he died. Yeah, here's a check from his producer, Marilyn Smith. Ain't nothing shady going around here, detective. But between you and me, something's off about those actor folks. A few weeks ago, an actress came in here through the back, just yelling, trying to find the guy. So she goes up to the front of the restaurant. Lo and behold, she finds him here. He's here all the time. So she goes over, starts yelling at him, screaming something about the new show. No, not exactly. Plus that pretty other customers, so the Goon brothers ask her to leave. I only see her in here one other time after that.
You better be telling the truth. I don't deal with no lima beans. See what I did?
Detective, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not guilty. Anything but making good beans. I almost feel bad for the guy, too. There I go again with the word puns. That was funny. That was a funny one. Anywho, that's all the questions I want to answer today.
After my juicy interview with Sally Sue, Kenneth Myers' hairdresser, I figured it would be a good idea for me to find someone else in his community. So I managed to contact a Mr. Jared Beagle, who apparently has been walking Kenneth Myers' dogs for quite some time now. So I'm headed over there to see if he can give me any insight into who might have killed Kenneth Myers.
Name's Jared Beagle, 20 years old. Been Myers dog walker for 5 years now.
How did you first come to know Kenneth Myers?
Oh, well, I gotta go back to the beginning for you to understand. When I was 10, I used to have a dog of my own. His name was Fluffy.
Oh, how sweet.
And Fluffy ran away.
Oh, do you need a hug? Good, I'm not really a hugger.
Hadn't seen him for a whole 5 years. But, then one day, I was walking through the city, and I saw an advertisement asking for a dog walker. And I swear to you, that dog on that poster looked exactly like Fluffy did.
Really?
So I called up the guy who ended up being the Kenneth Myers, the director himself, and I auditioned and I got the role. Still surprised that I got the part, but I've been walking Petunia for 5 years now. And sometimes she'll bring the ball back, just like Fluffy did.
You're kidding.
Times I spent with that dog are the happiest times of my life. Sometimes I wish, well, I wish that I could take Fluffy, maybe Petunia, and go and prance through the flowery fields like we used to.
Back to the topic at hand. Have you noticed anything weird around the house?
Has anything weird happened? No. Yes, no. Wait. No. Actually, I remember. About a week ago, I was leaving the Myers mansion to go on my way on my daily dog walk. And some woman tried to push past me to the house. So I asked her what her name was, and she said it was Barbara. No. It was Betty? Batara. Beatrice? Beatrice. It was definitely Beatrice. And, well, I don't know anything more than that. After that, I went on my way.
Beatrice, huh? Well, that's good to know. Hey, maybe when you're in my neck of the woods, you can take care of my little Maggie. She's been a little cooped up lately since I've been going out for all this detective work. Thank you for your insight, and have a nice day. Say goodbye, Maggie.
Well, colloquially,
materialism for friends? It's been an adjective day.
Witty comment.
Another witty comment.
Well, gang, insert pun.
Long, meandering, and convoluted setup. Underwhelming punchline.
Some pun involving Mexican food.
I.e., we never should have opened this can of beans.
And last but not least,
exciting cliffhanger pun.